Once Upon a Time podcast, Season 2, Episode 16, Miller's Daughter. In this episode, Cora and Regina try to overpower Mr. Gold. Meanwhile, dark magic tempts Mary Margaret, and Rumpelstiltskin offers his service to Cora. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is
Martha Southgate
and
Rob Southgate.
Come on. This was the greatest episode of all time.
Don't take too much time.
Yeah, make us have to wait to talk about it.
All right. I promise.
All right, where the heck are we starting on this one?
Holy
Molly,
cow.
call it. Fairy Tale Land?
Okay.
All right, so we see Cora as a young woman.
Well, so this whole one was Cora's story. Obviously, the Miller's daughter.
Yes.
And
hence the name.
Yes. So the flashback is her story going back. Now, we saw a little bit in the last episode when we saw that she was the one that pulled all the strings to make Regina and Snow White's relationship. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to see further back.
And what she had to do with Rumpelstiltskin, because they had a
remember
relationship.
they kissed in the one thing.
Yes.
So now we find out about that relationship.
All right, go ahead.
They're in love.
Yes, there. Cora's dad's drunk.
Yeah.
And what happens? Yeah, he's laying across that wagon.
He's resting.
Oh, he was
Why was
drunk.
he resting?
A lot.
He was resting a lot.
Yeah, he'd been doing lots of push-ups.
Drinky.
Yep.
Oh.
So he was passed out, and Cora then had to take the flower to the castle. That's why she was there.
And she wasn't happy because they're starving. And she says, really? You're not going to even help, and we're starving. So, not happy.
I'm realizing why she was evil.
Yeah, so what happened when she got to that castle and was delivering the flower?
The evil princess put her foot and tripped her, and she said, "Oh, she fell down."
Yeah, that
and she
Princess
ruined
Eva.
my shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was wondering about Princess Eva.
Ava.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she's going to turn out to be Snow White's mom?
What?
Well, because remember how Snow White's mom was so particular about be good to people, be kind to people. Do you think that we're going to find out Princess Ava is Snow White's mom? And she realized later that she needed to be good to people and she was trying to teach Snow.
No.
And that's why Cora went after her. Because remember, she said, you're going to know what it's like to be the Miller's daughter.
Oh.
So I'm thinking she was mean.
You're right. So she had a history there.
Yes.
Interesting. Could be. That's an interesting theory. So she wasn't getting paid that day because she ruined Princess Ava's shoes and was rude.
Right.
And they made her kneel and apologize. So she was dealing with humiliation and the abuse of power.
Right.
Someone who, people that were abusing their power to
not
lord
uncommon
it over other people.
For that time where there was that big class separation and anyone below a certain class was treated like garbage. That's exactly what they're doing here.
So Cora crashes the ball that night.
Yes.
And she thinks just because she has a mask, one of the little masks on, that they won't notice her.
Right.
And the dress, and her hair was all different.
It's kind of like Superman when he takes his glasses off and no one recognizes that he's not Clark Kent.
Right.
Yeah.
So silly.
She puts the mask on. Oh my gosh, who's that?
So she dances with the prince, and the king cuts in, and he says that he recognizes her, and he goes to kick her out.
Right.
And then she tells him she can turn straw into gold.
Yeah.
Right.
And what does he say she has to do that night?
She has to turn straw into gold.
That's what you just said.
Let her answer the question. Where does she have to go?
She has to go up to a room filled with straw and spin it into gold.
Right.
By the next morning, if all the straw isn't made out of gold, she'll be killed.
Yep. And what happens if she does do it?
If she does, she gets to marry the prince.
Yep.
So there's a lesson for you, Molly.
Rumpelstiltskin
straw into gold.
Shows up in her room that night. And she says, wait a second, if you could get in, you can get me out.
Yeah, how do I get out of here?
But instead, he helps her, and he teaches her how to turn the straw into gold.
No, wait a minute. Isn't that where she says, I want you to teach me rather than just show me?
I just said. He taught her how to spin.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to just know the magic, or have him do the magic. She wants more than that.
Yes.
Because he could have just done the magic at that point, spun the stuff, and then she can take it and show and like, look, I did it. She wants to know because that gives her more power.
Yes.
And it also can, and then she can also do it in front of the king and
Right,
stuff.
in front of everybody.
Well, and you need a lifelong skill.
If you
I could have
teach
someone,
a man to fish.
Yeah, I could have someone just make me the things I want, but instead of learning how to use the sewing machine. Which is really likely how I'm going to read.
Yeah, right.
It is.
That's exactly how you live your life.
Or
You can marry me and I enable it.
No, I'm going to get Molly learned how to use the sewing machine. Okay, this is a really bad analogy.
This is making you look really bad.
Okay. So you could do what I do, or you could do what she does.
Right.
If she actually wants to learn the skill.
Right.
So he teaches her how to do it, and he says magic is made by, you have to find your moment where you were at your lowest, where someone was treating you the worst.
Right. Well, this is for dark magic.
And she says, magic is made with bloodlust.
Yes, but it's dark magic.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's because like the good fairy's not like, remember that time I wanted to kill everybody?
Yeah, but
I can make Pinocchio
I would not
boy.
think that there was a question there in
I
what
wanted
we're
to be
talking
clear.
about here. So
Fairy are not like, remember that time when I always wanted to kill everybody? Oh yeah, boom! Pinocchio's made out of
Say that.
didn't he just say
That's
that?
what I was clarifying because you might have said it. You might have had some things go wrong there.
Okay.
So she finds her moment, and she says she wants to make them bow, and then she does. Like she figures out how to make the straw into gold, and he says, "Don't stop until they're on their knees."
Right.
And then Cora agrees to marry the prince.
Right.
Because this all worked out.
Right.
And he says, now you can marry the prince says, will you marry me? And she agrees.
Yes, of course, because that's what she wanted. Now she's in that position. But
So it's their wedding.
let's talk about your big butt.
Okay, let's talk about her gorgeous freaking dress that I
Yes.
want.
Oh, I love it. Can I dress up for her as Comic Con? Get that pretty fancy hair.
Wow, I wonder where we could get you a dress like that. That is
I want to dress up like a pony
gorgeous.
right now.
a pony or a princess.
How about Princess Cora
Twilight.
Pony?
But guess what, Mom? Twilight is a princess.
Oh.
So I get a pony princess. Yay!
So she kisses Rumpelstiltskin. I love when he says, "Love the dress."
Yeah. Dare
Love that dress,
And he says, "I can give you nothing but darkness and isolation." And she says, "And love." And he's like, "Yeah, and love." But that's beside the point. Mostly darkness and isolation.
And you know what we're seeing again? Rump is a big soft.
He is. He's a good man somewhere deep inside.
Somewhere deep inside, yes.
You know what I loved?
What?
When his son said, I didn't know you could do that. When he's being all nice and sweet to Belle. His son said, I didn't know you could do that. And Rumpelstiltskin said, I love everybody.
Right.
I'm full of love.
I'm full of love. And everybody's like, no.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
So they're talking about running off together. They decide she doesn't have to marry the prince. She can pull the king's heart out.
Yeah, this is the plan they come up with, that she's going to pull the king's heart out, then she controls him.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, she wants to crush it.
Oh, she wants to crush it, and she's
going
to run
show
off
it to him.
and marry Rump.
And he says, "That's why I love you."
Yep.
Because she wants to destroy
the heart.
That's where it comes in when he said, hard to believe you're from the same family, the Regina. And she's like, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, right.
So Cora tells the king that she doesn't love his son. And he says, well, that's okay. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Look at what you can do. And
we thought she took his heart.
well, yeah, you saw her put her hand on his chest, and she said something about that. And then you see her holding a heart, and she goes off to see Rumpelstiltskin, and he goes, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And what was wrong, Mal?
It was hers.
It was her heart in the box.
She said she couldn't do it and isn't going with him.
We're going to throw a first taking out heart party for her.
Yeah, because it was the first heart.
Well, and she's the only one that we have ever seen that has been able to trump Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes.
Because
she did it a couple of times here.
She got him to change the contract.
Yes.
So he said, well, you have to give me your first child. She said, no, you changed the contract. It has to be a child that we have together. Therefore, it's your child. Like, it has to be your child. And I'm not going to ever have a child with you.
She actually put him off in the very beginning when she first said to him, I want you to teach me.
Yes.
Because he was taken aback by that because he thought, I'm making a contract. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make the gold and you're going to do what I want.
Yep.
And she said, no, this is what I want. And that changed the dynamics there.
Absolutely.
So she has the power to get Rump to do things he's not normally doing.
Exactly. So very interesting to see that he actually can be thwarted.
Yes.
So now we're in Storybrooke time. We're in there, and Rumpelstiltskin is laying on a bunk on the ship, and Emma is talking to him, saying, "What exactly is going to happen here if they get a hold of this dagger?"
Right.
And he says they will be able to control me.
Yeah, she's like, "You mean she could have you kill all of us?"
Yes.
And he's like, "Yep.
Yes, they could definitely.
That would not be good."
So Cora and Regina, this was my favorite. I think this was my favorite line in the thing. Cora and Regina are listening in Regina's office, too. And they have David and Emma,
this is so funny.
David and Snow's phones tapped. And they're talking about
how do they get those phones tapped? And where's the magic mirror? He hasn't been in his apartment
they're in their apartment all the time. You know, like they have access to everything. Regina's got the master keys.
Oh, true. But where's Mirror? He hasn't been in this season.
He hasn't been on a while.
Because I would think he would be a good tool for her to use right now.
So David,
maybe he got smashed.
Yeah. He was drinking with Cora's dad?
So Emma is telling David and Snow, they're kind of having this conversation that they have the dagger and Rumpelstiltskin's on his way back here by ship. And Cora knocks the box off the desk
speaker.
And says,
"You don't even know what it's called. You're making fun of it."
I'm making fun of her.
She knocks a speaker off the desk.
She says, "I don't like that enchanted box."
Right? But you just call it a box. You know? Oh, Marv.
And then at this point, Regina realizes that Cora will have all of the power as soon as she has that. As soon as she kills Rumpelstiltskin.
Well, Regina's been putting this together, but she still keeps falling for what Cora's feeding.
Yes. So Rumpelstiltskin, Henry, Emma, and Neil get to Storybrooke. And Ruby and David and
Mary
Snow.
Margaret.
They're all there to greet them.
Yes.
And Henry leaves to go with Ruby because she's gonna protect him.
Right.
And so they get Rumpelstiltskin to his shop. And he has Emma draw a line across the front doorway with the invisible.
Yeah, with invisible chalk.
And she can't see. And Neil's going, "You missed a spot."
Yeah. Well, this is also interesting in here. I completely lost it.
Oh, well, here, let me help you. He says, he has Emma do the doorway thing, and he says, "The rest of you prepare for battle."
Yes.
And he sends Snow White to get a blanket. And she sees the candle.
Right. Now, that was a setup.
Of course.
He knew the candle was in there, so he was getting him to go to see the candle.
Her.
Yeah.
But he's also...
him, and you keep calling him's her.
Yes.
You know what? I'm very confused by this show.
All right.
One thing we didn't point out is he's not getting better.
No.
We thought that he'd get back there and he could do magic to cure himself.
I thought he would just do himself, but
he's
can't.
It's whatever this poison is, he can't cure it. That's why he makes her get the candle. And that same candle we saw in the other episode.
He wants Snow White to use the candle to save him.
Right.
And if she uses the candle over Cora's heart and puts the heart back in Cora's body, she'll die and he can live.
Yes.
And she says, "Well, couldn't I just control Cora's heart?"
Right, which she could.
And then let you die.
Right.
And then it's a win-win.
Yeah, and then he's like, boy, Henry will be very upset that his grandfather's dead.
Yeah, that you killed his grandfather.
But you killed his great-grandmother.
Oh, I really don't think Henry would care so much.
Yeah. So it's his great... That isn't his great-grandmother.
Yeah.
It's his great-great.
Right.
Regina's his great.
Right,
I'm
so it's
very
his
literal.
great-great-grandmother.
I'm very literal.
Yes, you are.
And Rumpelstiltskin at this point tries to teach Emma how to conjure up a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he says it's in your blood, and she does it.
Mm-hmm.
She does it. She does it fairly easily. She puts a spell of protection on the place. Not strong enough to keep Cora and Regina.
Not even a little bit.
They bust right through it. They do that Wonder Twins power.
That was
They both
awesome.
put their hands, they make a big fireball, and boom! Awesomeness.
Well, and they first it's like an earthquake.
Yeah.
And then the two of them are standing out front. Big fireball. That was really
Yeah, and that fight in there was really cool,
fireball
too.
together.
When
boom.
Cora and Regina were fighting them,
Yeah.
that was really cool. And David's like, he swings the sword and deflects the fireball, and
Wouldn't that
they
just
knock
get
him to the ground.
singed?
Well, it's magic. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's
real
magic.
fireball. It's a magic fireball.
And Snow escapes. She sneaks out to go get Cora's heart.
Yep.
That was brilliant.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out the back.
Yep. And David and Emma finally realize that Snow is gone. He's out front because Cora threw him out the front door.
Right.
And he comes to and calls Emma on his cell phone. And
Emma and
compare notes.
Bay have Rumpelstiltskin back in a back room.
Yep.
And they've got it enchanted to protect him back there. And Cora's just standing there working it, trying to get through.
She is.
Trying to get through. It looks like kind of a
And
mirror
you can
doorway.
see it weakening. And
Yeah.
they keep saying, oh, she's getting closer.
And then she realizes, she says to Regina, something's wrong.
Yeah.
My heart, it's in your storage facility. You store it. And
I don't think she said that.
and Storage Wars is there. And yep.
No.
And they're about to take, somebody's like messing with her heart.
Well,
Isn't that a Bob Seger song?
And Snow's got it, and she's using the candle on it, and she drips the wax and says,
It says Cora. Yep.
And in the meantime, Rumpelstiltskin is talking to Belle on the phone. He says, please let me, I'm dying.
Yep.
Get Belle on the phone for me. So he calls her.
Somebody ring Belle.
And you know what? She was very kind to him, because in the past couple of scenes with her.
Well, she doesn't know who he is.
But she said, I'm
he's,
so
kissing
sorry, I
her
don't
and-
remember you.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm dying. And he said, let me tell you who you are.
Right.
And oh my gosh, I love
Yeah.
this. I only wrote down the first two, but he says, you are a hero that helped your people, and you are a beautiful woman who loved an ugly man.
You
Yeah.
got
And
that
I wrote,
part in?
best speech ever.
No, wait a minute. You missed a key one.
I did miss it. I just told you that. I only wrote down the first two.
I gotta find it. Hold
But
on.
wait, Mom.
What? And that's when Bae said,
Wait, guys.
what?
When the curse hit, one of them, Ruby, Emma, I don't know, maybe Regina, one of them told them to go find Mr. Gold. And she went over and went to Mr. Gold when the curse was over.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When the curse was just ending.
Yeah, so?
But she would,
What's your point?
shouldn't she remember that?
No,
that
because
was
she went over the
Storybrooke?
line. And she has
Right,
no
and
memory.
she doesn't remember, right.
But that was
But I remembered what he
But she
said
doesn't
to
remember
her.
anything.
I remember what he said to her. He said, you make me want to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
Just like as good as it gets.
Yes.
You make me want to
Wanna
be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
See, I did a little Nicholson there.
You
That was
did.
a subtle Nicholson.
It was sort of a cross between You Complete Me from Jerry Maguire and
Nicholson wasn't in that.
Jack Nicholson doing As Good as It Gets. It was
That's
like
what I just said.
I said it was a cross between those two movies. Jerry Maguire's speech.
Where does he get those wonderful toys? That was a pretty good Nicholson. That was Nicholson as the Joker. But it was a combination of the two. All right, show me the money. Let's get on with it.
So Bae says, I didn't
Nobody
know
laughs at my jokes.
you had that in you.
I don't
and
know what
he's
you're talking about.
And just as Molly said earlier, our favorite line is, I'm full of love.
Full of love.
And he asks to hold Bae's hand. And Bae's sitting there pouting, and he goes, I'm still angry. But then he gives him his hand. He goes to him and they put their foreheads together. Oh.
Yep.
And he's like,
I loved it. Because his dad loves him.
I did love when he said that, though. I'm still angry.
And then I wrote here, awkward Emma.
Yeah.
Because poor Emma had to sit there awkwardly while he talked to Belle.
And
then he does this with Bay, and she's just sitting there going, oh, let this
Gross.
end.
You love your
Why am I
dad.
sitting here?
Gross.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So Snow tells Regina, this was brilliant.
Yes.
Regina shows up where Snow is with Cora's heart.
Right.
And she said, I was getting it to give it to you. She totally tricks her.
Yes.
And she says, she's not capable of loving you because she doesn't have her heart. Put it back in her body and you can know what it is to have a mother.
Because she's never had a heart as long as you've known
and
her.
now she will finally love you.
Yes.
I know what it is to have a mother.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you do, my sweet baby.
My sweet baby.
So David finds
David.
Snow, and she's beside herself, and he says, what did you do?
Yep.
And Regina is already back with Cora in Rumpelstiltskin's room, and
He puts the heart in her.
Well, she sends Emma and Bay out to the woods. She transports
Oh, yeah, that's so
them.
funny.
Yeah.
He's he's about to attack her, and she sends them to the woods, and Bay's still in that position.
Yep.
Because they were so surprised. It happened so fast.
And I'm laughing because he looks like a dork in the middle of the woods fighting nothing.
Right.
Right.
And Rumpelstiltskin says, there's one thing I just want to know. Did you ever love me? And Cora says, why do you think I had to rip my own heart out? You were my weakness, the only man I ever really loved. And Regina comes up behind her and shoves her heart in.
Shoves her heart in
from
right
the
then.
back.
Right.
And then Cora starts dying.
Right.
And
Immediately,
Rumpel-
you see that poison thing go on to her, and she starts dying. So we know
And Rumpel's
Snow
healthy.
White did the deed.
She did it.
And the
it was
dagger,
brilliant.
his name was fading out, and as
Yes.
soon as the heart goes into her, his name comes right back
Yep.
on it. Wow.
And she's dying, and Rumpelstiltskin's healthy. He's up and he's fine, and there's no more wound.
Huh? Yeah, that's funny. She's hugging her mother like, oh, sweet. And she doesn't even notice Rumpelstiltskin picking up a sword.
Yep.
He's got the knife on him. He's like,
So is he going to
Hi.
be evil now that he's back in power,
I don't think so.
or is he just
I don't think so, because now he's got Bay, he's got Emma, and he's got a
going to
family.
work with Belle?
I think he's going to do
now
more
that
to be
Cora's
good.
been defeated,
They have to now fight
But now-
Regina.
but they got to fight Regina, and Snow is going to have to
Snow
see Dr.
White is
Hopper because
dead.
she needs therapy after this.
Well, dead meat. Regina's going to freaking kill her.
oh, she's going to get the huntsman to tear her heart out.
She is going to go for blood because she knows
Yes.
what Snow White did.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Snow White and David come running in. No, but it's too late.
Yep.
And so she has now caused her to lose Daniel, and now she's lost her mother.
Yeah.
All because of Snow White, and she
Yep.
is not going to rest
Nope.
until Snow White is tortured and miserable.
You are correct, sir.
So let's end it so we can get to the next episode.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't
All right,
wait.
go.
Uh-huh.
Do your business.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
tomorrow we have a special episode, Lacey, which I
Yeah.
can't wait for.
Oh, yes.
I just want the name.
Because you like the name, yes.
Thank you for listening to this and all of our other podcasts. You can find past episodes of this and this episode at our website, which is
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
excellent. You can find us on all the different social media platforms, or at least most of them. Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Just look up Ever After Podcast, the Once Upon a Time podcast, and look up Southgate Media Group. That's another way to find us. Those are the easiest ways. You can look me up on Twitter. Just type in @RSouthgate, and for Martha, she tweets from
At SMG Pods.
and that's it. Oh, and on Tumblr, it's southgatemediagroup.com/tumblr.com. That way you can find all of our Tumblr blogs on there all at once. It's really cool. Okay, I am ready to get to that next episode. Let's end this the way every great fairy tale ends.
Happily ever after. The end.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.